Hello guys, today I'm gonna show you on how to build a computer, but first of all you need to know about its components. Here we have PSU, which stands for power supply. Here we have the GPU, which stands for graphical processing unit. Here in the middle we have the tower, which is also the case that's gonna contain and hold everything inside. And inside the case we will have various components. You will have the CPU, which is the processor of the computer. You will have the RAMs, which is the memory to process the data. You will also have the motherboard, which is going to contain the CPU and everything else. And finally you will have the hard drive, but there's also a different kind of hard drive nowadays, which is called the SSD. Basically what the SSD will do, it will process your information way faster than the normal hard drive, and therefore it's important for gamers or also for video editors or also for people that need fast speeds in their computer. For the process you will need different items such as cable ties, some screwdrivers. You may want to have one cross screwdriver and one flat screwdriver. You will also need a cloth. If you're not building a computer but instead you're cleaning up your old computer, you will need a cloth. Without further ado, let's take a look inside the computer. So here we are in the back panel of the computer. What you want to do first is to unscrew this screw, if you can see well. And basically what this is going to do is gonna let you have access to the side panel of the computer, which is this one on top. Now you want to slide the side panel of the computer, and you're gonna have all your components in here. So let's take a look inside. Okay, so now you can see that I did two little small parts of cable management. It's only to not let those cables hang loose because they may interfere with either the graphic card or the power supply. So we're gonna do this first, and then we're gonna put up the power supply or the graphics card. What I'm gonna do next is to do the same thing but with those two cables and lower them as much as possible because they may interfere with the power supply too. What we're gonna do now is to install the graphics card. You can see that there's a ventilation process here. So you got two fans here. You got pipes for the heat and the heat distributors here. Where you want to place this is basically on this side going down. Now basically this side here will have to face the back, so this part here is gonna have to face the back panel of the computer, so you can plug in all the HDMI cables, the DVI or the VGA also. So what you're gonna do is try to find a slot where it says, so what you want to do is to find the PCI, which is right here, PCI times 16. So it's this long bar. On some motherboards you may have two PCIs, so you may probably put two graphics cards and connect them together to have better graphics, or even connect multiple screens or monitors. So what you're gonna do is place this one and this one to the pattern on the bar right here. So you see there's a little square and then you have a separation and then a long line. So you're gonna just place it in. Don't be afraid to push it in or break the motherboard, because you won't really, the motherboard is solid. So just do your job and put it in. Be careful with all the wires also. So now that I slide it in there, what you want to do is to secure the graphics card by putting this little piece on this side of the computer and securing it with one screw right here. So we're just gonna put it in real quick. We're gonna fix it later. just not to forget. So now the next step are gonna be the RAMs. So in here we have to, basically you have here two same RAMs which have both 4 GB of RAM, so this one and this one, and you have a different RAM here that is 2 GB of RAM. So what you want to do is exclude this one for the moment. You're gonna take the two that are the same amount of RAM, of gigs of RAM, and what you're gonna do is very closely you're gonna put each RAM on the same color. So you're gonna take this one, you're gonna put it in on the blue. You can put it in the black as well. It doesn't really does any effect. So you're gonna push it in until you hear the clip, and you're gonna see the two little fangs on the side. So you're gonna push it until the fangs that are on the side will hit the side of the RAM, so it's safe and secure. So you're gonna do the same thing in the same color. So you're gonna skip one line, which is the black one, and you're gonna go ahead and put it in the blue one. Now that you hear the click, you may proceed with the other one. So this one, since it's a different amount of RAM here, it's 2 GB, you're gonna put it in a different color. So we're gonna choose, you have two colors here, so you're gonna put it on the black one. So if I had another 2 GB of RAM, I could have put it on the other black slot that I have available, but I think 10 GB of RAM is already a lot. I don't really need much more. I can do everything with that for now. So the next step will be to identify everything that we have on the power supply. As you can see, this is the power supply, followed by all the cables. This is the trickiest part of building a PC, because many people tend to lose patience over all the cables. But what you want to do first is take those cables right here. You're supposed to have either two or one of them, or maybe three, depending on how much hard drives or DVDs slots that you have. So here I have one hard drive. So here I have one hard drive, and here I have one DVD. So I'm gonna take one of this and put it in on the hard drive. As you can see, there's a pattern here where there's a line and then there's like an L forming. So you're gonna put it into the hard drive and follow the pattern. Once you put the first end on the hard drive or the DVD-R, you want to locate the other side of the panel where you're gonna put it. So here you're gonna put it to any of those four slots that you have available. I'm gonna decide to put it on the dark blue. It's the closest one. So you're gonna put it in. Afterwards you're gonna leave it there. Try to lower it if you can, so you can diminish the amount of cables going out. So now what you're gonna do is follow the same pattern. So you have the same pattern for the DVD. If you had another external hard drive, you want to do the same thing. Also, if you have an SSD, it's gonna be the same process. So what you're gonna do is take one end and put it in either the motherboard first or the DVD part. So I'm gonna put it on the light blue one. See, now it's connected. And place the other side in here into the DVD part. So right now you already connected one part of both the DVD and the hard drive. You still have to connect two more cables on each, but first of all let's put in place the power supply, which is this one right here. So you can see that the power supply space is right here, but if you can see closely, there's like a little hook in here. That's the edge where the power supply will go, and it's gonna help to secure the power supply to not budge or move during the process, or even when you're gonna stand up the whole tower. So just go ahead and place it inside the box. Be careful to not hit any components. Once you hear the click, it is to let you know that it is nice and secure in there. But before placing any cables, you're gonna go ahead and put all the screws in a crisscross pattern. You may tighten them later if you want. So I placed them right now, but I'm gonna tighten them later on. So now don't panic as you see all the cables right here. I'm gonna tell you exactly where to place each one. It's quite easy in the if it's your first time, don't be afraid. Just try to manage them and to identify them before placing them. So first you want to look for the biggest cable, and it's the one that's gonna look or resemble like this. So you're gonna go ahead and find this head right here, which is the 24 pin cable. Here you have 20 pins inside here, so 10 by 10, and here you have a 4 slot that you're gonna put it here. Once you're gonna put it in, why does it happen? Sometimes you only need 20 instead of 24. That's why it comes in separate. So what you're gonna do is identify the 24 pin slot in here. It's the only one you're gonna have in the motherboard. You can see it right here. There's no more 24 pin slot in here. So that's the easiest cable to place if it's your first time. This part, you may notice that there's a little hook in here. There's gonna be like a little hanger on the other side of the slot. What you want to do is just hook it till you hear the click. Now that you place it in, what you're gonna do is put the cable aside if you can, and you want to go ahead and look for this type of cable right here. So you may notice that it's the same pattern as the other small cable that we put in before, the one that goes into the hard drive and the other that goes into the DVD, but this one is a bit longer. You may notice that you have 3 different slots on the same cable, so you have 3 heads. You may take any of the heads right now, it doesn't really matter, so just go ahead and pick one and place it in on the other side of either the hard drive or the DVD. Now you may want to find the other part that comes along. So here I have one cable. This type of cable is not really used right now. It's more for the old computers. I won't really need them for this computer. Now what you're gonna do is go ahead and find the other part that looks similar to the first part that we put. So you're gonna see again 3 heads on this cable. So just take off the cables that are right here, move them aside for now, since you're gonna put one of those in here. I may suggest you to first put a cable tie in here, so you don't have to do it later, since there are gonna be more cables. So just go ahead and put one now. And you may want to cut the excess like this. So just pick ahead one of the heads and just place it in there, following the pattern, of course. So by now we must be almost done. So like I said before, This kind of cable you won't really need it. Put a cable tie on it and just secure it so the cable doesn't go around here and there and make contact with the other components. You have a cable that has two heads with 4 pins on each head. This is the fan of the CPU, so you're gonna put it right next to the fan of the CPU right here. The last cable that you have to put in will be the graphics card cable. As you can see here you have an 8 pin, but for this graphic card, like you can see in here, there's a 6 pin, so you won't need the extra 2 that comes with it. It's only for the GPUs that comes with 8 pins. So you're gonna go ahead and place it again like in the 24 pin with the hanger here. Go ahead until it clicks. You're gonna want to do some cable management like we did before. So go ahead and take all of the cables right here and put them into a cable tie. Okay guys, so now there's one last step to do, and it is to put the system fan that's gonna go on the rear, on the back panel of the computer. What you wanna do is to place this sticker facing outwards, so facing out the computer, and afterwards we're gonna plug in this head into the motherboard. So first of all, take the screws that came with it and place them in a crisscross pattern. So now what you're gonna do is go ahead and place this thing again like the other heads with the 24 pin and the 6 pin. You're gonna place it right next to the PCU fan. So this one is gonna be called system fan, so just go ahead and look for it on the motherboard. This one is quite tiny, so it may take patience and little hands to put it in. Okay. Once it is already placed in, you're gonna go ahead and tighten up the screws again on a crisscross pattern. Before now putting the panel again on top, you're gonna go ahead and screw the screws that you put up before and you didn't tie them. So like in the power supply, you're gonna go ahead and do it on the same pattern, so as a crisscross pattern. And don't forget obviously the slot that's gonna secure the graphics card in place, so go ahead and tighten it up. Now that it's safe and secure, you're gonna go ahead and check if everything's alright. Make sure you didn't miss anything. Secure all the RAMs, secure all the 4 pins, the 12 pins, 24 pins, whatever. So you're just gonna make sure that it is in place. And what you're gonna do now is just to put up the cover on top. Once it is in place, what you want to do is just slide it in, and as soon as you see that every corner is in place, if you remember well, at the beginning of the video when we open up the box, we put up a screw, that's the last screw of the computer. Just put it in here and tighten it up to make one sure this doesn't slide off if you're using the computer. So now everything's alright in place, everything's connected. The computer should run properly. So now everything that we need to do is just plug it in. So now as we can see, the back panel of the GPU, the graphics card, is this one here. We secured it with this metal piece, and the fan, as you can see, is right here, safe and secure, and the power supply is right here. Everything you need to do right now is just power it on, which is right here, and put up the cable. you need to connect the cables depending on which cable you're gonna be using. So either the HDMI, the DVI, or the VGA. Be sure to plug it in here instead of in here, because this is the graphics card. This is gonna give you the better graphics of in your computer. And basically that will be all for today, and I hope that this tutorial on how to build a computer will help you out. Thank you very much.
Peace out.